Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cup Interviews, brought to you by Cup of Hemlock Theatre. I am your co-artistic producer, Mackenzie, and today we are tickling our funny bones as we're going to be talking about some improv, some comedy, and I have two amazing guests with me to do that. First off, we have the wonderful Becky Ablack, who is the self-described tall friend of the troupe Small Friend, Tall Friend. And we have Rami Khan from the troupe Potato Potato. And so both of you were just at the Spotlight at the Second City program. You had your performances at the beginning of September, so they have just passed, but we're going to talk all about what you have coming up at the end. So if you missed them there, don't worry. You'll be able to catch them down the road for sure. But to kind of, break the ice, get the conversation going, we're going to do our classic question on the cup, which is, what do we have in our cups today? Becky, you first. What is in your cup today?
Oh my goodness. In my cup right now, I have some cold coffee.
Love
I made it this morning and I haven't finished it yet. So,
it.
and what's special about it is it's actually Zoe's mug, the self
Ah,
Zoe, small friend. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Perfect, perfect. And you have a very nice fall ensemble today with that lovely red in there. You're
Yeah.
looking very cozy.
Thank you. I know it's not warm anymore. So,
No, no. I was coming back from the gym and I went, oh, I should have worn jeans, not shorts. I'm now really
yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
Mm.
Unfortunately.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Rami, what do you have in yours? What is in your
Well,
cup today?
in my Bingo Bronson mug,
Ooh.
if we know Broad City, this isn't my mug either. Um, it's Erica's mug from Potato Potato because we are
Ah,
famously three sets of roommates in that troupe.
Oh,
And
perfect.
I just have some tea. I have some orange pico tea with some
Love
milk, just
that.
like my mama used to make, to keep me nice and warm on this day because I've been rotting all day and I just want to be cozy. Want to be cozy.
I feel that. I feel that. And I am drinking from my The Cup. And I am drinking right, right. One of these days we'll have to make it available for everybody to have one because it's so much fun just to pop that up and say the Cup. And I'm drinking some Earl Grey tea with some honey because you wake up in the morning, your throat's a little bit scratchy, and then it's like, you just gotta get yourself warm and toasty. So mm, fabulous, fabulous. Well, we're all looking great, and I love the yellow sweater. It is like the perfect fall color as well.
Thank you. It's so
Yeah.
cozy. I got this when I went on vacation, like a
To
long
San
time,
Francisco?
and San Francisco, famously, as you can see.
Yes.
$10. $10. Isn't
Ooh,
that
what a
crazy?
deal.
And it's lasted me like 3 years, so period.
Incredible. Incredible. I love it. I love it. So let's kind of start with an origin story. So let's get each of yours kind of first experiences with sketch and improv comedy and kind of what was the moment where you went, okay, I really want to like do this in front of a big audience, do it for Fringe, go around to all the clubs. So Becky, what was your first experience?
Well, I grew up doing theater,
Hmm.
and I went to an arts high school called Cardinal Carter, and I was on the improv team at that school, and that was like the most fun I've ever had. To this day, like I think I have not enjoyed anything more than I enjoyed that. And actually, I was on the improv team with Stephanie, who is
Mm,
my best friend, but also a member of Small Friend Tall Friend
love
and
that.
was at our Second City show as well. Yeah, we did improv together and we competed all over Canada, which is like the nerdiest thing to do,
I
but
love it.
also like the most fun. And I fell in love with improv then and with
Mhm.
comedy then. We even like wrote sketches, and when I was in grade 12, we performed at Comedy Bar Bloor. Like our drama class did like a performance, we got to write sketches and we had them directed, and it was super fun. And I think like having the opportunity to do that at a young age kind of got me into, doing comedy in general. I didn't stop for quite a while until Zoe and I created Small Friend Tall Friend, which was like 5 years after I competed
Mhm.
in the Canadian Improv Games. But I think I always kind of had it in me
Mhm.
to want to do the improv and sketch, and yeah,
Wonderful.
that's kind of
Love
where I
it. Did
started.
you did you have a favorite comedian growing up that you would, like, watch, whether stand up or from a sitcom that really
Oh my
inspired
goodness.
you?
I think my favorite stand up that I first like connected with or felt like oh wow, I could do something like that, or I love this kind of stand-up, was probably Hassan Minhaj.
Mm,
I remember watching his first special. I
yeah.
think I was in late high school, and I really connected to that kind of storytelling.
Mhm.
But then in general, like I loved any like comedic sitcom, even the stuff we had on the Family Channel was like funny,
Mhm.
and like
Yeah.
I thought Raven Simone as a child, I thought she was
Oh,
like the like most amazing comedian or comic actor
yes.
I'd ever seen. So
Absolutely.
I
yeah,
still go back to that. I still go back to that so Raven.
Mhm.
Like,
she
sorry,
honestly like
Raven.
she had like a comedic voice that was like unlike anything we saw on
Mhm.
Disney. Like
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
when you watch it back as an adult, you're like, she was fully a teenager and she was doing like physical
Mhm.
comedy to like the caliber of an adult. Like that's
Yes.
yeah,
crazy. And she was so fearless. And like
Mhm.
still
she
kind of
was
is.
honestly yeah, she was honestly doing clown.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
think about it, like, she was
Yeah.
doing so many different characters, she was doing clown, she was
Mhm.
yeah, she was incredible, and I think she's still incredible to this day. I think she's awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rami, what about you?
Yeah. My comedy is something that just kind of I felt like was always just like a part of my life. And whether it was just like using it as like a clutch growing up. I grew up in London, Ontario, in like the
Mm.
suburbs, being like, like the only not white person growing up in my schools. And also like, just like a closeted queer kid growing up. You're like, you
Mhm.
kind of use
Mhm.
comedy as like something to connect with people.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was always told I was funny and I loved consuming comedy. I remember the first time I saw Saturday Night Live. I mean, like that's
Mm.
such a gateway for everyone. Like our
Mhm.
family friends, we would always go to their house like every Saturday night. And I'd always question, why are we staying up so late? Like it's crazy because all the parents wanted to watch SNL and all the
Oh,
kids were just like, we get to stay up late and hang out. But
Mhm.
when we were old enough, we got to watch it with them, and it was Tina Fey doing Sarah Palin.
No.
And so something about that stuck with me,
Mhm.
something about, like, the impression stuck
Mhm.
with me and about, like yeah, and, like, political comedy and being like, "Oh, you can use comedy to, like, talk about the world."
Mhm.
So in terms of just, like, inspiration and stuff, like, of course, like, Tina Fey,
Mhm.
Fuller, and Maya Rudolph was actually huge for me too, because I
Mhm.
loved seeing, like, a not white person just, like, be bold and brassy and take up
Mhm.
space, and, like, her Donatella Versace, she was so not afraid of doing
yeah.
that. Like, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Period, like, I can do that."
Yeah.
And then as for, like, my journey, I went to college for musical theater,
Mm.
as did most of my troupe, actually,
Yep.
and, that's a different environment, so
Mhm.
finding people who connected with you on comedy in that way in, like, the
Mhm.
mainstream or in wanting to go see stand-up, wanting to go see sketch was kinda
Mhm.
hard, so just kinda discovering that on my own with a group of friends after school
Mhm.
was really, really huge, and then, like,
Mhm.
Potato just kinda came into my lap
Mhm.
because I knew it was something I was wanted to do and pursue, but then it just kind
Mhm.
of organically kind of happened. Really,
Mhm.
really fun. And now I have this amazing group and I'm part of an amazing community that I love to be a part of. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
Also, in terms of like inspiration as a kid, all that.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys remember watching
Yes, I
it.
remember watching
Or like
that. It was like the
all
kids'
that and
Saturday
like
Night
the Amanda
Live.
Bynes, yeah, and the Amanda
Yeah.
Bynes
The
show.
Amanda
Oh,
Show,
Yeah,
yes.
they were
Yes.
both like kids sketch shows on like kids
yeah.
Mhm.
like YTV. And like yeah, all that was like all kids sketch and then Amanda Bynes show was literally just her
Mhm.
hosting like an SNL-esque show
Yeah.
every single day. And I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, we can be quirky and funny and silly and just have fun."
Mhm. Mhm.
Not quirky.
I love that. I love that.
Really?
And Rami, who would you say is your favorite, like, impersonation of a politician that you've seen? Because we've seen a lot. We've seen Alec Baldwin do Trump. We've seen Tina Fey do Sarah Palin. We've seen Maya Rudolph do Kamala. We saw Will Ferrell do Bush. So we've seen a lot of politicians get parodied over the years. Like, who
Uh-huh.
would you say stood out to you? Bowen Yang did Andrew Yang
Yeah.
for a while there. So we've seen a lot of
I
great interpretations of politicians.
think. I mean, in terms of unfortunately, we don't have a lot of that in Canada right now. It's really only this hour
No.
and 2 minutes, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna call my
Mhm.
own. I'm gonna say Cal Forrester as Doug Ford is iconic.
Mm. Yeah.
Because they have taken such a fun approach to Doug Ford, where he's just kind
Mhm.
of this just like the cool dude from high school that never grew up and still thinks he's living in that era. That's like my personal bias, but also
Mhm.
in terms of like mainstream comedy, like
Mhm.
I'm gonna stick by like Tina Fey as Sarah Palin. Like that was
Mm.
so like spot on the nose. I'm trying to think of someone else. Oh, what's his face? Oh my God, Beck Bennett as Vladimir Putin's always hilarious.
Yes.
Like that's just it's so singular. It's like you take that one
Yeah.
thing and they riff on it constantly and it's so good. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, like those are kind of up there for me. And I feel like
Hmm.
there hasn't been like a real solid one since, in
Hmm.
my opinion.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've had your origin stories, but let's get to your troops as well. So let's go with Potato Potato. How did that come to be?
Oh my God, Potato Potato is such a like it's kind of such a concoction of like
Hmm.
years in the making. So I'll be as brief as possible about it.
Give us the hour-long lecture version. We're
Okay,
ready.
hey, here we are. So Dan Bag and Ashlyn Cush started Potato Potato. They're still in the troupe. They started it with their like troupe of friends from their devised theater program at York University. And
DT.
yeah, period. Oh yeah, York City. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
all the
Both
way.
of you. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did that program. And then in 2019, they wrote a fringe show called It's Getting Hot in Here with their kind of cohort. And there was around
Mhm.
like 9 of them, I think. And at the time, they were doing the fringe show at the Annex Theater, which is a part
Mhm.
of Randolph College where I went to school and the
Mhm.
rest of Potato Potato went to school. So during that time, they needed someone who could sing. So one of their troupe members worked at Randolph
Mhm.
and knew that Lizzie Song had just
Mhm.
graduated and had an amazing voice and is hilarious as, can I swear?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And
PG-13. Everybody gets one swear word.
great. Hilarious as book. That's my swear word. So then she joined the troupe for that show in 2019, and then for the Fringe Festival. And then they got asked to remount that show at the JCB series at Second City later that
Mhm.
year. And the most of the troupe kind of like went in their own direction and did their own thing. So they needed somebody else to play Jugmeet Singh. So so Lizzie and I were friends. She asked me to join. I joined in 2019.
Mhm.
And then COVID happened and we did the Digital Fringe Festival.
Mhm.
And then we just kind of kept like adding people. So the Erica joined for that. And
Mhm.
then when like, restrictions lifted after COVID, we
Mhm.
started getting back into the swing of it all and we were asked to do some shows. And those of us who were in Toronto just kind of like remained in the troupe. So that was me, Erica, Lizzie, Dan,
Mhm.
Ash. And then last
Mhm.
year, Cal Forrester joined our group as well, who is Lizzie's roommate. So we're 3 sets of
Mhm.
roommates. Me and Erica,
Love that.
Lizzie, Cal, Dan, Ash. And Dan and Ash are married, so it counts.
Mhm. Yeah. Permanent
Yeah,
roommates.
yeah. So it was just kind of a concoction of just like
Mhm.
us wanting more people and like knowing people that were really interested in pursuing sketch but didn't really know where.
Mhm.
So we invited them in and then just kind of like, life happens with people move out of the city, people
Mhm.
go on to other projects. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like the 6 of us now and we've been going strong for the past like 2 years in like the community and it's been really,
Mhm.
really cool to see how we've evolved even like since like 2023.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, that's kind of like the hodgepodge of it all.
Yeah. And how
Yeah.
did you approach playing Jugmeet Singh? What was
Well,
your process for
yeah.
that one?
So for that first show, we were just like puppets, like little
Okay.
puppets. So it was the hand did all the work. I
Love
just
it.
was the brown man holding it. But then we did a show last year where I played Jugmeet Singh and he was just kind of like a cool dude. I really went off the fact that like everybody
Mhm.
likes him and
Mhm.
he's kind of bro-y. And like the
Yeah.
thing with Potato Potato is we're not trying to do good impressions of
Yeah.
these politicians. We're trying
Mhm.
to like poke fun at all of them. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was like this guy who was like, "Hey, bud, come on, like, give me, like, dab me up, bro, dab me up," and that was fun. That was fun to like lean
Yeah.
into that because that's so not me.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Okay, Becky, give me the rundown. How did small friend, tall friend come to be? How did you become the tall friend of the group?
Oh my goodness. I'll be honest, I've always been the tall friend of the group because I'm just tall. And that's any group, but especially with Zoe, our height differences are pretty fun. So, but Zoe and I met in Devised Theater at York
Love
University.
that. DT, my
Actually,
heart.
I know, right?
Mhm.
Well, we actually met in a globalization class that we were both taking. And that also speaks to the content that we
Yep.
make too.
Yeah.
But he definitely does more. And we had been working together for years. Like we worked together all of university.
Mhm.
And then in the summer of 2022,
Mhm.
we went to the Fringe Festival and we saw the Don Valley Girls um,
Mm.
at Fringe,
Mhm.
and we loved. we loved the show, and we loved, I think something that they have that, really inspired us was their, like, the way they stick to theme, and like
Mhm,
their costume and their
Mhm.
music and everything like that. Like transition
Mhm.
music, I mean, like it was, we were like, we could do this, especially because a lot of their stuff was pretty either based in Toronto or political,
Mhm.
or social at the very least. And
Mhm.
so we were like, that's something that we could do. And we'd
Mhm.
never written sketches, but we were like, let's try.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
then we signed up for one Second City writing class.
Mhm.
And that's where both of our relationships with Second City kind of started.
Mhm.
And our teacher, Alessandra Vite,
Mhm.
was so lovely. And we had told her that we were starting to write sketches and whatnot. And then she
Mhm.
let us do a Tall Boys show. And we went to this Tall Boys show,
Mhm.
and we were so nervous.
Mhm.
Like, we were so scared to perform. My older brother came to our show because I felt like it was such a big deal. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
it's the basement of the Tall Boys bar. Like, it's really,
It's
but we were so
a big
nervous.
step. Own
It
Right,
it.
is.
it was huge for us, and we
Yeah,
were very excited.
yeah.
So we were nervous, and we definitely were, like, tight on
Mhm.
stage,
Mhm.
and we had to learn really quickly that it's really not a big deal, and everybody here is
Mhm.
so kind and so fun and, like,
Mhm.
wants to hang out with us, and eventually we, like, loosened up. But that's kinda how Small Friend Tall Friend was born, was because of the Fringe
Mhm.
Festival. We were writing this
Mhm.
Fringe show, and, yeah, we wrote a bunch of sketches, turned it into a show. A lot of the sketches from our first ever Fringe show
Mhm.
were written at the Second City, including one that was seen at Spotlight, the Oscars
Mm,
acceptance speech. That was the first sketch I ever wrote. Um,
really?
and it was from a writing exercise at the Second City. And yeah, we just started writing. We just made this show. We brought
Mhm.
on David and Steph, and
Mhm.
it just became like what it is. And then after we
Mhm.
did the Fringe, we had formed relationships with a bunch of people. Taylor and Gabe being some of those people.
Mhm.
They were so kind to us and booked us on a bunch of shows that helped us workshop stuff for Fringe. And then after the Fringe, we were still
Mhm.
getting booked on stuff, and we still wanted to do it. So we
Mhm.
continued, and now we're here.
I love that. I love that. Wonderful. Now, where did the name Potato Potato come from? Because I get small friend, tall friend. Like that's a
Yeah.
perfect description of your group, Becky. But then where does Potato Potato come from?
It's honestly like a lot simpler than it sounds. But when Potato was being formed, the troupe
Hmm.
just wrote a bunch of words on a piece of paper, put them into a hat, picked out
Hmm.
two words, and the two words
Hmm.
were potato. So yeah, and it just kind of works. I think
Yeah.
it's fun. We kind of have like people call us the potatoes, or we
Hmm.
call each other our tater tots. Like that was silly.
Oh,
It's so fun, and then everyone gets confused. They're like, "Is it potato or potato?"
right.
We're just like dealer's choice. Dealer's choice. It's like the most random fact about us that our name is potato.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Wonderful. Wonderful. So then you just did your tight 30-minute slots over at the Spotlight run there. So each of you kind of give me the rundown of what was your process for selecting which materials you wanted to do? Was there any sketches you really reworked, cut, or swapped at the last minute? Was there any sketches you were like, oh, we wish we had time to add that one more really good sketch? It was on the chopping block, and then ultimately it just didn't get put into the 30-minute slot. So, Becky, what was it like for you? Because obviously you'd done Fringe and been doing going around as well. So how did you come up with your 30 minutes?
Yeah, our we thought, because we were at the Second City, we were like, we should do some sketches that people love us for. And we felt like a lot of people that maybe had seen our shows before might come back for this one. And so we did want to include some, like, what we call SFTF greatest hits.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did actually have two two sketches from the Fringe in the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we really wanted to be able to workshop some new
Mm-hmm.
material. It's really scary to, like, I mean, you guys, potato, like, inspire us all the time, because you guys always have like insane, like, new material that, like, just works, and it's just immediately funny. And one thing we really admired about Potato is the transitions. like how
Mm.
seamless things are. And it's so fun. It's like watching a play. It's just like you're so entranced.
Thank you.
So we
Thank you.
definitely wanted to, of course, we wanted to bring some new stuff in, but we have such a big fear of workshopping. Did we workshop anything? No, we did not. We did not take these new sketches to any other show to try them out. We kind of just put blind faith in a couple of them.
Mhm.
One of them being diversity training, our diversity training sketch. That was something that was in the works from me for a while.
Mhm.
Like it was something I had sketch idea in my notes app
Mhm.
for
A
quite a
perfect
while.
idea for a sketch.
Yeah. Right? I
Mhm.
wanted to pull so much from The Office, that episode, the second
Mhm.
episode of The Office.
Oh,
Mhm.
iconic.
So funny, but I was like, I cannot just rip off that episode.
Yeah.
But uh that was something that was in the works for a while.
Mhm.
So when I wrote that, I didn't think it was great. I never often think my sketches are great, but
Mhm.
then I showed it to Zoe and she was like, no, it's good. And I was like, okay.
Mhm.
Another one of our new sketches was Fruit Fly, Hag
Mhm.
Island. That was written by David Cheech, and that
Mhm.
one was so much fun. Immediately when we read it, we were like, "Oh, this is going to be funny. It's going to be very fun."
Mhm.
And it's very like kind of catered to our
Mhm.
audience, I think. And
Mhm.
so we definitely knew that one was going in.
Mhm.
One of the ones that had to get the cut was our Wicked sketch. We have a sketch.
Oh,
Yeah.
love Wicked.
Yeah. I know, right? And so do we. And we were like,
Mhm.
honestly, like this sketch is a bit too similar to Fruit Fly,
Mm.
and it's because David wrote it as well. And he has a very specific voice. So, yeah, we ended up cutting that one. Also, we were like, I feel like this will be more relevant after For Good comes out.
Right.
So, we're saving that one. It'll come back.
Yeah.
No wicked sketches until For Good comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we definitely did make some cuts because I think
Mhm.
30 minutes is tough. But honestly, it's tough when you're leading up to it because you're like, am I going to be able to fill 30 minutes? And then you fill 30 minutes and you bring it
Mhm.
to 45 and you're like, because I have to reel it in.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's hard to cut sketches. But overall, we wanted
Mhm.
to make a good mix of like
Mhm.
our classic like
Mhm.
satire that we
Yeah.
like to write and also like a good bit of like goofy
Mhm.
just silliness because I think it kind of breaks things up a bit for people and it
Yeah.
makes it more fun.
Wonderful. So what is your actual like writing process then? Because you mentioned diversity training there. So like and you have that idea of festering, gestating for a while. So like when you actually said, okay, we're gonna write this, what is your
Mm.
process going into that?
When I say it was in the works for a while, it
Mhm.
means that it was in my notes app as an
Mhm.
idea
Mhm.
for about a year.
Mhm.
And I just never wrote it. I think that's the thing with me is I can't like I not that I can't. I don't do things unless I
Mhm.
have a deadline,
Mhm.
unfortunately. But I had this idea for diversity training
Mhm.
just because like I think when you do diversity training at work, you're like, what the
Mhm.
who is this for? Like
Yeah.
who are making
Once
this
a
for?
year, got to do it in the office. Absolutely, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it ends up feeling pretty ridiculous, I think, especially when you are a person of color or
Mhm.
a woman or a gay person or you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like when you are a marginalized person,
Mhm.
it feels
Mhm.
different. It feels like it's not really geared for you.
Mhm.
And so we just thought that was funny. But I honestly didn't have any idea of what the sketch was going to be.
Mhm.
And I think that my process for that is basically just sitting down in misery, being like, how the hell do I write this sketch? What is
Yeah.
funny about this?
Yeah.
But I will say, I do always go back to the writing format that we learned
Mhm.
at the Second City writing class because it gives you a structure to start with.
Mhm.
And I think when you have just an idea, you need
Mhm.
something to build off of.
Mhm.
So I do often go back to that structure, and that's what I did here. And then I was like, how can I make this sillier? How can I make it more ridiculous? How can I make it bigger? And then that is when
Mhm.
the idea of it becoming more about pay disparity than it
Mhm.
is actually about diversity and equity and
Mhm.
inclusion. That's where that idea kind of came out of. And then I
Mm.
kept building on that, kept building on, kept
Yeah.
building on it. And then Zoe actually helped me write the ending for it because I'd gotten to a point where I was like, I'm so deep in this, I can't figure out an ending. And Zoe was like, wouldn't it be funny if we had like a complete tone shift at the end? And then that's like our easy button.
Yeah.
And so it definitely is a collaborative approach. I think, especially with having a DT background, it's like
Mhm.
I just throw stuff at the wall so he catches it. And
Mhm.
builds on it, which it's probably my favorite part of working with her.
Aw, I love that. I love that. Wonderful. And then what about Potato Potato? What was your guys' troupe process? Was it like individualized or was it like roommates by roommates who like said,
Yeah,
hey, you guys get 10 minutes here, you guys get 10 minutes, or you guys get 10 minutes here? Or like how did it work for your 30-minute set? Like what was the process for you?
our processes are generally
Mhm,
extremely collaborative. Like we
mhm,
really do lean on each other when it comes to the writing process. I
mhm,
think there's a fear of all of us collectively being like, "Ugh, I'm not the funniest person ever."
mhm,
So we're all like, but we're like,
mhm.
everyone else is funny.
Right.
But then like that just means we're all funny. So
Mhm,
yeah, it's a very
mhm,
collaborative process. We really,
mhm,
specifically for this show, like
mhm,
we really just kind of we met like once
mhm,
a week
mhm,
leading up to the show, or like 1 or 2 times a week just to make sure that we were writing and that we had stuff, and even if you had, like, half a sketch written, let's, like, read it
mhm,
and, like, help
mhm,
with punch ups. Let's, like, bring an idea, how can we flesh it out? So it's a lot of
mhm.
conversation, we do a lot of table work, it really feels like a writer's room actually, which is
Love
kind
that.
of fun. So we really all help each other with our
Mhm,
creativity. It's like, "Oh, but what if in this sketch this happens and this happens?"
mhm,
Like, similar to Becky, there's a sketch in our
mhm.
show called Dating Managers that I had been wanting to write for a while because it's just like dating sucks right now. So like
It really
it'd
does.
be great if I had a manager just kind of like weed through everyone for me, you know?
Mhm,
Or so that concept was like again in my notes app for like probably like half this year. And I was like, I'll get to it.
mhm,
And then the show came up and I was like, maybe we can wait it for this. And yeah, and that was a thing where like I'd write out just kind of like a skeleton of it, go, hey guys,
mhm,
help me make this funnier. This is kind of where I want it
mhm,
to go. This is what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts on the sketch? And like, I feel like we've gotten to a place now because we've been together for like like this group in particular has been together for like
mhm,
2 years now. So we're really
mhm,
comfortable with each other and like
mhm,
understand that we're not super precious about the work. We just want the
mhm,
work to be the best that it can
mhm,
be. And if that means like more people getting their eyes on a sketch, then
mhm,
the better. So, and then it evolved into something completely different than what it was before. So, and I think it's just like the funniest thing now. And then we get it on its feet because we all have like that theater background and that devised
mhm,
background too, that like
mhm,
we're like discovering new things about these
mhm,
characters and this scene that can
mhm,
like make it funnier, right?
mhm,
So essentially like, yeah, that's kind of our process. And like for this show in particular, because we really like to we do a lot of political and social satire, right? So
mhm,
we try to keep up with the
mhm,
times, and it's specifically geared towards like Canadian politics, because we feel like
mhm.
there's not a lot of like conversation about it in
Yeah.
comedy as there is
Mhm.
compared to like the States. Like even like
Yes.
Mhm.
Canadian TV shows are like talking about
Mhm,
like American politics. So it's
mhm,
like we're really trying our we really want to,
mhm,
be those people who really like, you know,
mhm.
poke fun and like bring things up and
Yeah.
like talk
Mhm,
about that. We always say that
mhm.
laughter is a
Mhm.
oh wow, I'm forgetting this, which is crazy because we always say it. Laughter is a vehicle for conversation. So,
Absolutely.
so yeah, so this show is interesting for us though
Mhm,
because over the summer the federal government
mhm,
is closed, right? So there's not a lot going on in Canadian
mhm,
politics. So we kind of saw it as an opportunity to write stuff about more like local politics, like like in Toronto or in Ontario.
mhm.
And then also we were like, let's throw in like some greatest hits as well.
Yeah.
And what other silly, goofy stuff we can like think of that just like,
Mhm,
that we've been wanting to explore outside of like
mhm,
political humor.
mhm,
So that was
mhm,
really fun to do. So like we got so many sketches that
mhm.
came out of that. Like our opening number, Three Sets of Roommates, which is the whole song. It's
Yep.
just talking about
Mhm.
that. And Erica Rockstad wrote a sketch called AI Oscars, where an AI generated script won the Oscar for Best Screenplay. And Ashlyn wrote a sketch about how like everyone's praying for, no rain on their wedding days, but then there's no rain at all, so the environment fucking collapses.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I swear again, sorry. Becky, I
It's
stole
all
your
good.
swear.
I'll give you mine.
Becky, I stole your swear. Yeah, so it was just like a really, really fun
Mhm,
concoction of everything that we do.
mhm,
So it was really fun to just kind of like figure out that order. And because we do
mhm,
like transitions, we don't really do blackouts in our sketches.
mhm,
We transition from one sketch to another. So
mhm,
essentially bringing like one sketch into the next and
mhm,
the next and into the next,
mhm,
whether they're connected like
mhm,
thematically or not at all sometimes. It's a fun way to keep us on our toes and try and find the more like creative way
mhm,
to write sketch.
mhm.
for us. And it's really been
Mhm.
fun to figure that out for this show in particular because
Mhm.
the themes were kind of broad. So it was cool to to really explore
Mhm.
that and really figure out what running order worked best for us and how
Mhm.
are we doing too many political sketches then like one that's kind of dumb and funny or like then
Mhm.
too many or whatever. So figuring that out was really hard,
Mhm.
but really fun. And I think it was rewarding in the end when we got to do the show in its full. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what our process was like. I'm pretty sure I answered the question.
That no, you answered it great. You answered it great. And actually, you led in perfectly to my next question, all about your troupe. So, right? So you
Yeah.
brought up politics,
Mhm.
and as we know, in the world right now, politics it's a bit of a testy subject. We're seeing things in the world get worse. We're seeing divisions get stronger. I mean, we got Alberta trying to break away from the rest of Canada. We got all types of things going on in the country that into the south of us as well. That's giving us a lot of ripple effects up here. So when you're doing particularly your political sketches, is there any time where you go, "Ooh, this feels too much of a touchy subject, and we got to either find a way around it," or is there any time where you went, "Okay, we can't actually
Mhm.
really dive into this political area just because it'll divide the audience or become too much of a hot topic where it can actually turn off our audience from connecting with us."
Yeah. Yeah, we spend hours talking about this. We'll sit around in Dan and
Yeah.
Ash's living room and talk and really
Hmm.
try to poke at every side of
Hmm.
the issue that we're trying to bring light to.
Hmm.
I think again, laughter is a vehicle for conversation. I
Hmm.
forgot it again, guys. It's
Hmm.
crazy. So I think as long as we're approaching it with empathy, and as long
Hmm.
as we're approaching it with
Hmm.
all of the facts,
Hmm.
the amount of fact checking that we do, specifically Ashlyn does, iconic, love her for it.
Good.
And we do our best to do our
Hmm.
research on every single thing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And also some of the heavier stuff, we may not
Hmm.
even make light of it. We may just say it what it
Hmm.
is, point blank.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then some other things we can poke fun at,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so it's really about
Mhm.
having an open dialogue amongst ourselves and
Mhm.
then again workshopping it, seeing
Yeah.
what going to again, we'll get booked on some sketch train shows or 5 or 10
Mhm.
slots and we'll be like, hey, let's try
Mhm.
this out, let's try this out. Like seeing how people respond to it
Mhm.
too has been really helpful. But yeah, approaching it with empathy and thought and care and
Mhm.
it's sketch comedy at the end of the day,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
We all understand we're not saving the world. Again, we're
Yeah.
just trying to get people to
Mhm.
put their own minds onto it
Mhm.
and talk about
Mhm.
it. Yeah. So that's kind of
Mhm.
our gist and
Yeah.
our kind of
Mhm.
mantra when it comes to that.
Love that. Love that. Have you done a sketch yet all about the ongoing speed camera war over at Hyde Park where they keep cutting down that speed trap camera?
No, but we should. We
You
really should.
absolutely,
We
especially now
really
that Doug
should.
Ford said he wants to get rid of speed cameras altogether.
Dang, we're it's in the works. Trust and
Yeah.
believe. We did bike
Yeah.
lanes. We did bike
Yeah.
lanes this time. I played a bike.
But I
Uh,
love that.
and Doug Ford got scared of the bike. We made it so that a bike sold crack cocaine to Doug Ford's brother. So hey, uh,
Brilliant.
why not? Why not?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hey, we're open to
Mhm.
that. We're
Yeah.
open to that. I think it's
Yeah.
definitely in the works.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. And speaking of Mr. Doug Ford, I mean, Rob Ford has his own musical. I'll bet what happened to him. When can we expect Potato Potato to, do Doug Ford the musical?
Hey,
Considering so many of you have like a musical theater background.
yeah, get this. We actually are writing a potato musical. We want to do a sketch show within a
Mhm.
musical because we write so many of
Mhm.
our songs that we write are original. And because again, we all have this musical background. Dan
Mhm.
is low key a music producer.
Mhm.
It's freaking crazy. I
Mhm.
feel like we will go to his house and record and lay down
Mhm.
tracks and he's so chill
Mhm.
about it. And I'm like, we're like Billie Eilish and Phineas right now, in our bedroom, just making music, but it's
Yeah.
silly music, but it's still fun. Yeah, we actually would. That's a big goal of ours to do is
Mhm.
trying again because we do so much current political
Yeah.
satire. Sometimes we find it difficult to find sketches that will stick for a longer shelf.
Mm.
So a
Yeah.
goal of ours is to do something with interchangeable kind of characters and stuff that will
Yeah.
have a longer shelf life. So we can tour it and stuff. So yeah,
Mhm.
hey, you really you got my noggin right there. And hey, maybe it'll be a Doug Ford centered one. We already got a couple songs where he's singing about wanting to be the mayor of Toronto and not the premier. So
Yeah. Taking over the green belt.
hey, he's there doing that.
Yeah. Selling off Ontario Place to people who can't, pay for it,
And we did a sketch about that.
Perfect. There you go. I mean, like his brother, he just gives and gives and gives
Mhm.
material for days that you could play
People's
with.
princess.
Yeah. Okay, so then Becky, with the small friend, tall friend sketches, when you're putting those together, so then how do you keep that playful? But then, because you also are getting into hot topics of the day as well, so kind of like, what is your guys' process if you know you're going to be coming onto a topic that may be a bit testier and may ruffle some feathers potentially?
I think things aren't really interesting if they're not ruffling
Mm-hmm.
feathers. I think,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Comedy's
that's
meant
not,
to.
yeah, I think, you know, like Rami said, like
Mm-hmm.
laughter is a vehicle for conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people are more open to things that are controversial if they can laugh
Yeah.
through it. And I feel like every satirist ever has done it,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's either you use absurdity as a vehicle for it, or you use comedy, or you use, exaggeration. Like I think storytelling for satire can include a bunch of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I don't feel that the things that we're talking about are, like Rami said, saving the world. I think they're things that, like people know about, and
Mm-hmm.
we often talk about topics that are close in proximity to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't ever feel that any of our sketches are speaking from a place that we don't already come from.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, like, David will write a sketch and I'm like, I don't even know what this means, but if you're saying I can say this, then okay. Like, we felt like that for Fruit Fly. There were a couple of things that a couple troupe members were like, David, what does this mean? And it had to be explained to us. But, like, I feel like there's we're never speaking from a place that we don't already know, like, intimately.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you're being
Mm-hmm.
if you're being
Mm-hmm.
conscious of the fact that your experience is not everybody's experience,
Mm-hmm.
and like leaving room for that as well,
Mm-hmm.
then I think it's hard for people to not sit with you in what you're talking about. Like especially because, like, if I'm thinking about the Oscars acceptance speech, she's getting shushed off every time she tries to talk about something political or social. And I was like, I could have made that movie about anything, but I decided to make it about fast fashion and relate it to the exploitation of, like, people of color internationally. And I never even say it. I never even say anything because she gets cut off. But that's something that, like, it could be anything. You could place any issue in that place and it would still work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it leaves space for other people to
Mm-hmm.
put their own context in it. Yeah, I think there's a way to be respectful, and it's by acknowledging what you can speak about because you have the proximity to it, and acknowledging what you can't speak about because you don't have that experience, and you maybe are not as educated or as knowledgeable about it. But I think that's kind of how we operate. And then also we're just like, we're being goofy about it. It's not, we shouldn't be offending anybody. And I don't feel that we have done that. There have been times where we don't get a laugh. And sometimes I feel like it's because maybe people don't know if they can laugh at that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think anytime we talk about, like, we have a song about abortion, that sometimes doesn't land.
Yeah.
But it's, we're speaking from a place of that we have, some proximity to, and, we're speaking about women's rights, and Zoe and I are both women, and, it affects our lives as well. So it shouldn't be offensive. It might just be uncomfortable. And in that case, I'm like, at least you're uncomfortable. And it's now you have a reason to think, why does this make me uncomfortable?
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of where we operate from. And I hope that, none of our work has ever offended anybody. I don't think that it should, because we're speaking more from personal experience.
Love that. Love that. And speaking of personal experiences, one of my favorite standout lines from each of your troops descriptions is, being attracted to Nosferatu. So who was attracted to Nosferatu, and which version Nosferatu are we talking? Because I'm thinking like there are so many versions of this. Are we doing like the most recent version? Like, what is that? Like, I am fascinated just by that one line alone. We got to know.
Yeah, that is I wish Zoe was here. Although I would say that a couple of our troop members could relate to that. If I'm so honest, and this is like insider information, I have never seen Nosferatu, any of them. So I'm really not good with horror or
Yeah.
anything scary.
Mhm.
And so it's just not really my cup of tea. But
Mhm.
I mean, who can say they haven't been attracted to Skarsgård? Come on.
It's
Like,
true.
So
Yeah.
I think
Even when
Rami,
he is a rotting corpse, you know.
yeah, right?
How long thing?
I think there's something
Mhm.
really interesting about
Yeah.
Nosferatu being like
Mhm.
so strange. I think that like that's absurdist.
Yeah.
And I think
Mhm.
that kind of fits the small friend tall
Mhm.
friend vibe.
Mhm.
But Zoe wrote that song about Nosferatu and also made those visuals for us as
Yeah.
well. And what's crazy is I had never seen the visuals because
Mhm.
we were facing away from the screens. And the
Right.
first time I saw them, I laughed so hard, but it had been after we'd performed it like a couple times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you
Mhm.
don't. I think it's
Yeah.
something that either sits with you or it doesn't. And if
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's just goofy. If it does, it's like, whoa, wake that up.
Love that. I love that. Perfect. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. So both of you were just on the Second City stage, and that is an iconic landmark for Canadian comedy. So how did each your so had either of you being like, because obviously Becky, you had taken classes, but had you been like going to a lot of shows growing up? Was it some place that was always on like your bucket list of places you were like, we got to get to go to Second City and do our set at Second City? And kind of like, what was that like being able to now say you're now part of the Second City fabric in the history of Second City now that both your troops have gotten to go to these places where we've seen some of the great Canadian comedians like John Candy grace the stage as well. Rami, what about you?
Yeah. I mean, like, Second City was, like, always one of those places. I remember when I moved to Toronto, it was, like, a place that I was like, "Oh, I know I'm gonna take class there. I'm gonna try to be a part of that after," because I knew it was
Mhm,
something I wanted to explore.
mhm,
Improv was something that was super interesting to me, so I did, like, improv for actors after school and stuff, and, like, really enjoyed and met some really cool people that I'm still friends with today just through that process. But yeah, it's really cool. This is like as a troupe, this is our second time performing at Second City, which is like crazy to say.
mhm,
We did it back in 2019, but that was for the It's Getting Hot in Here show, like the very first show that they did.
mhm,
I didn't really have a part in writing it. I was just kind of there to
mhm,
like be another cast member. So
mhm,
this show in particular was really special for us because like like I said, since like 2023, we had really kind of been grinding. Like we did Sketch to the Death in 2023 and won that.
mhm,
Ooh. And thank you. And ever since then, we've just kind of been steady and like going and going and going. And this, when Gabe and Taylor approached us for it, it really felt like this was the next step and the right time.
mhm,
And
mhm,
it felt kind of like an honor to be asked to be part of like the first Spotlight series. And
mhm,
like to, like, have, like, our first night sold out, like, it's crazy, like, that rarely happens in Toronto, so it's truly an honor to be a part of it and, like, to see our peers
mhm,
who either are, like, work at Second City, or part of the community, like Lizzie, who's in our troupe, is understudying for the main stage show right now at Second City, so it's just, like, seeing all these webs and, like, weaving
mhm.
like, coming together and, like, into these 2 nights was just kind of like kismet in a way, so, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's an honor. It was an amazing show. It was so fun to do. Like we were so happy that Small Friend Tall Friend was billed with us because we always find that like whenever we do shows together, like our pairing is always so good and the audiences like really, really enjoy it. So it's
Mhm,
yeah, and like even Taylor did such a great job. So like being a part of this and the
mhm,
fabric of like comedy in Toronto now is like crazy it feels, like, insane to say that, but, like, it's true, and it's so fun. It's like we're so happy. We're just kinda like, "Okay, like, this has been such a great thing to work towards," and now we're like, "Let's keep this caliber going,"
yeah.
you know?
Mhm, mhm. Had you requested to be paired up with a small friend, tall friend, or was that just kismet, luck of
I
luck of
think
the comedy gods that you guys ended up paired
yeah.
together?
luck of the comedy gods. It's like our second or third show that we've been together, and it's always
Mm,
worked out, and it's been so
Mhm.
lovely. Like literally, Gabe and Taylor just knew,
Mhm.
and
mhm.
we were like so grateful for that too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Becky, what about you? What are your thoughts on being able to now check off that you've gotten to go to Second City and perform on the great main stage there?
Oh my gosh. What no, I think Rami said it perfectly. It feels like
Mhm.
such an honor, especially like when I for a couple years, my brother would buy every Christmas, my brother would buy me and my mom tickets to go see the main stage show at Second City.
Mhm.
And I was in such awe of that cast.
Mhm.
And I specifically loved the improv afterwards. I think it's like one of the
Mhm.
best parts of the Second City. And, I've always been like, oh, that's like a insane stage to be on. And we even did, we would do some of our rehearsals at the Second City, and even to like be that close to the stage or like be on the stage while, nobody's there,
Mhm.
it feels like I was like, wow, I was an audience member here and I'm going to be an audience member again. Like I frequent a show at the Second City. So it's,
Mhm.
it does feel like quite the honor. And I felt, like Rami said, really lucky
Mhm.
to be billed with Potato Potato. I've like forever called Potato Potato our sister troupe because we're like
Aw.
locked in. We also did the Montreal Sketch Fest
Mhm.
together this
Mhm.
year, and we've been told, like,
Mhm.
even my family that comes to see our shows, or my friends
Mhm.
that come to see our shows, they're like, oh, I loved this sketch from Potato Potato, and this kind of reminded me
Mhm.
of your sketch, and this topic reminded me of this, and like I feel like they do kind of
Mhm.
mesh really
Yeah.
well, which is
Mhm.
beautiful. Yeah, it felt really good to one be up there with my troupe, and I'll say like with
Mhm.
Zoe and David, who I went to school with, who I went to university with, and like
Mhm.
studied theater with, studied writing with.
Mhm.
And then Steph, who's my, best friend in the world. We've been friends for the past like 12 years.
Oh.
We did improv together as children, and like
Mhm.
it feels really like full circle
Mhm.
Mhm.
to me. And yeah, I mean, I love sketch because I get to do it with my friends and it's very fun. But to do something that feels kind of like serious and like,
Mhm.
I mean, not that I've not been serious, but it feels very like, whoa, this is like a real big
Mhm.
accomplishment. Something that like my family came to me and they were like, wow, like you're at the Second City. Like we can
Mhm.
recognize this is a big deal. It does feel good. It feels like we're actually doing the
Yeah.
thing that it feels like we've been
Mhm.
working so hard at
Mhm.
for quite a while. Yeah, and we had so much fun, and I feel so grateful that Gabe and Taylor like
Mhm.
ran a like amazing show. I almost swore, but
Mhm.
I know Rami took my
Sorry.
word. But
It's okay, you can swear. We're at the end. You can go for it. Say it.
um, yeah, but ran such an amazing show.
Mhm.
Are like fantastic hosts. The amount of people
Mhm.
Mhm.
that told me after how funny Gabe and Taylor were, like
Mhm.
and me and Zoe have always like been such fans of Gabe and Taylor, and
Mhm.
it does feel like awesome to be on a stage with so many people that we respect so much, we look up to
Mhm.
so much. Yeah, so it's just like an awesome experience, and I'm as somebody who's going to go back to the Second City both as a
Mhm.
performer, hopefully, and then also like
Mhm.
guaranteed as an audience member. It just like feels awesome.
Yeah. I also wanted to add that, like, it's also beyond cool that Second City is giving this opportunity to local troops to
Mhm.
and like indie comedians to like have this
Mhm.
stage, and not it be just like not it be the Second City cast and have it be
Mhm.
people who love comedy and just love
Mhm.
doing it. Like Becky said, with your friends. Like
Mhm.
it is such a like it is such a like family affair for us at Potato
Mhm.
Potato. Like Dan and Ash got married this year. We were all there.
Oh.
And like again, we all lived together. We all went to
Mhm.
school together. We've done
Mhm.
this. And like to see like this big like comedy like institution that like is the biggest stage of comedy in
Mhm.
Toronto give us space to do what we do and not have
Mhm.
like really any parameters around it, just like do what you guys do best
Mhm.
is an honor. It just puts us on a bigger stage and opens us up to like more opportunity and to
Mhm.
be seen by more people. There's such a joy and privilege and honor in that too, and just like
Mhm.
that coming from Second City and that being something that Gabe and Taylor like kind of like started is huge
Mhm.
Mhm.
for the
Yeah.
community. And like I can't wait to see the other Spotlight series and the
No.
other troops that are
Mhm.
built for like the rest of this year. Like
Mhm.
hilarious. Like
I
Yeah.
know.
10 out of 10. Like I will be going to every
Mhm.
single one.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
way I'm so excited, I like even seeing like it's so awesome to see like other troops that like we've been on shows with, or we've done like, even like a tall boy show or like a sketch train show
Mhm.
or any sketch fest stuff, like troops
Mhm.
that we've seen there. Like I'm so, so excited to see Carson and Taylor. Like, oh, they are incredible. I love them so much. And like that's a show that I will watch. Like I would watch anything with the two of them too. It's
Mhm.
incredible. And so it does feel like really awesome to be seeing, these troops that we like have personal relationships with, just like
Yeah.
sketch comedy in Toronto, like
Mhm.
it feels really like warm and fuzzy to see
Yeah. Yeah,
them
like
at the same.
our community is getting a bigger stage and it's so freaking cool.
Snaps to that. Snaps to that. Now, before we go though, because I'm sure all our audience wants to know where and when can they watch either one of your troops next. Like, are you guys going to go out on tour together as like a duo troops, where you guys could go do like a cross Canada duo troop tour? Considering how well you guys pair together,
Do
like
we do
fine
that?
Um,
line.
Wait,
like, should
Becky,
we?
let's hop on a call after this. Hey, you never
Oh my
know.
god, I would
Yeah.
love that. It kind of felt like that when we did Montreal Sketch Fest.
Mhm.
It really
Um,
did.
Mhm.
It really
but
did.
we definitely should look into that.
Hey,
We need to link up and join
yeah,
brains so that we.
we've got some
Mhm.
like smart cookies in our troops who are like good
Mhm.
producers.
Yeah.
It's not either of us, but it's the other people. Well, it's not me.
Yeah.
But hey,
Yeah.
I'm an actor. I
hey,
don't know.
yeah, I just show face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. But where is Potato going to be seen next?
We're just doing some like random shows for the rest of the year, just kind of like
Okay.
one-offs. This coming, I don't know when this episode comes out,
This will
but
come out next Friday.
okay, just
Or
kidding.
this
We have
coming
a show this
Friday.
Monday, so it's
Okay.
in the past. But we are actually planning to do a holiday show. So check out our socials at Potato Potato Presents on
Yep.
Instagram and TikTok for
Mhm.
updates on that. We did
Mhm.
one last year and it was a huge success. So we're
Mhm.
excited to do it again this year.
Yeah.
It'll probably be happening in December, early December.
Mhm.
Otherwise, hey, just
Mhm.
yeah, follow us on socials and we'll post when we're doing like a tall boy show, a comedy bar show, like
Yeah.
something like a one-off. But
Mhm.
that's it. And we're hoping to do like Fringe and like the Sketch Comedy Festival circuit next
Mhm.
year. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Uh,
We will.
that's about it for Potato Potato.
Perfect. And small friend, tall friend?
Yeah, similar boat. We're going to be doing like a couple
Mhm.
shows in Toronto.
Mhm.
And again, you can find us on
Mhm.
Instagram too, where we'll post
Mhm.
those things as
Mhm.
at smallfriend.tallfriend. We're also doing, sorry, you said this comes out on Friday?
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
Friday. Okay. So
Yeah.
we're going to be doing the Sketchfest Comedy Cabaret on
Mhm.
Saturday, September 20th. And that's probably where you could catch us next. We'll be
Mhm.
performing in the round, which we've never done before. So it'll be
Ooh.
interesting. Yeah. And so that's one of our shows that's coming up that you could probably catch us at.
Amazing. Amazing. Becky, you'll also be heading back to Wellsbury, I hear, in the near future as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I almost was wearing my Wellsbury sweater. So yeah, heading
Mhm.
back to Wellsbury
Mhm.
this month, which will be
Woo!
yeah, which will be very fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's a production that's like always fun to be on. I've been on
Yeah.
since I was like 18 years old.
Wow.
So it's like very
Mhm.
comfy and cozy for me. And I'm like
Yeah.
excited to be back at it.
Mhm. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, we'll make sure each of your troops has all their contact info as well as both your contact info in the video description below. So if people want to dive more in, reach out to you, maybe book you, hopefully, you can
Yes.
always go right down to the video description down below. But for now, do you have social media plugs you want to shout out before we sign off so people can find and follow you? Rami, what about you? Where can people find
Yeah.
and follow you and all your wonderful antics and your future Doug Ford musical?
Hey, yeah. You can follow me on Instagram at RamiCon underscore or
Mhm.
TikTok, which I think is the same thing, or it's like at
Mhm.
RamiCon00. I
Mhm.
feel like if you just look it up, it'll pop up.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, that's me.
Perfect. Perfect. And then we'll also have Potato social
Oh,
links
oh,
down below
at
as well.
Potato Potato Presents on Instagram and TikTok.
Perfect. Amazing. And Becky, what about you? Where can people find, follow you and all your
Um,
adventures and small friend, tall friend?
you can find me at
Mhm.
Becky Ablack on Instagram,
Mhm.
and you can find Small Friend Tall Friend at smallfriend.tallfriend on Instagram.
Amazing. Perfect. Well, thank you both for coming on to chat with me and give me a good tickle on my funny bone. I can't wait to get out and see your troops perform in the city in the near future. And I can't wait for that holiday show as well. I'm like already thinking of this great political ideas for like a holiday show. Like there's so much, you
Come
know,
see it.
yeah, right? Trudeau and Katy Perry's first Christmas together, like right
Period.
Oh,
there.
Hey, writing that down, and we'll
Yeah.
give you. I'll give you writer's credit for it.
Yay! Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody, and stay healthy, stay safe, and we will see you all in our next episode. Cheers.
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 oh.
Oh,
Just
cheers.
go.